W.T.F. Nation Radio
is in the house.
I'm Ethan Nagel, scout sniper and filmmaker. I've teamed up with combat veteran and founder of Project Leaflet, Chris Naganuma. We traveled to Izium to capture the stories of 3rd Assault Brigade's men on the front lines. This is Embed Actual.
If you have annoying neighbors, you can use this device.
Just crossed the river. We're gonna grab some coffee though before we hit the front line.
Heading back into the bunker for safety. Make sure we don't get hit with counter battery. Oh, there's one.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
You said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
Let's roll.
Let me turn my mic on. Broadcasting live from the Functional Veterans Center of Excellence on this 12 May. This is W.T.F Moments, W.T.F Nation Radio. How y'all doing today? Doing all right? I hope y'all doing all right. I'm doing all right. Broadcasting deep within the basement of the Pentagon. Maybe somewhere in Area 51 in the Alamo. Somebody sent me a picture of the Alamo. It does have a basement. So, anywho, glad y'all could join us. Is there a holiday today or something like that? That inbox has been pretty quiet at U.S. Army WTF Moments. I'm just wondering if there's anything going on that we're missing. I'm missing. There was a glitch. I don't know if you guys noticed. U.S. Army WTF Moments glitched. The page went offline for a minute, and we're like, oh no, this is it. The final of all final removals of the page. It didn't have, I don't know what happened. All I know is that we were rocking and rolling and stuff was getting posted and there was it just all of a sudden the page went dead. Everything was all right with the chats, but man, dude, it was a hit or miss. I was like, yes, finally a new page we can start up again to get rid of the drama-laden algorithmic. Yeah, exactly. It was doing multiple Mondays, all the festivities that are happening on Monday, of course. And yeah, it was kind of weird. So I don't know if you gals noticed it, that the page went offline. U.S. Army, the big page. And oh man, yeah, it was. I don't know what to say. Facebook. I was talking to some of the other admins and some of the things that Facebook is removing. I said that we should tell the audience what took us down or what stuttered the page, but then we were worried about all of a sudden the page is getting the page getting zapped again. Which of course, I think that the main page has had so much drama to it that it just needs to go. Maybe it needs to have that one. Put it out to pasture and stuff like that. Let me see if I can pull it out because it was like, are you kidding me? And a matter of fact, I will do a window cap that won't show the image because we have a guest tonight. I'm gonna do some news and catching up, so I don't want to torch the. I don't want to torch the. No, actually, no, I can't show it because it literally is. So it's showing a. Let's put it this way: it's showing a very suggestive meme. It doesn't show anything else. It's a suggestive meme. It's not a meme that has anything explicitly showing. And it wasn't compared to some of the stuff we posted before. We posted toys of a nature that individuals will seem to deem explicit. I'm just going to say that right now the page is not for kids. This is an adult page. This is an adult podcast. So we got a lot of stuff that came across. You shouldn't be posting this or you shouldn't be posting that. But then a very, very generic meme gets us dropped. And I'm thinking, what is going on? So real quick, We're going to be, doing a recap of the Angry Cop story. And we're also going to be having a guest tonight, Shawn VanDiver from Afghan evac. Now, you guys know that U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio have been on top of all the drama that has happened from August 21 to present when it comes to the marital AIDS. Yeah. Wait, what kind of AIDS? AIDS or AIDS? But anyways, so we've had history from August 2021 to now to present. There's a bunch of updates. Shawn's going to come on to talk about all our Afghan allies and the processes that they're going through, or maybe not going through, I should say, to get evacuated from Afghanistan. It's just a freaking mess. So real quick, trending in the inbox. Somebody at NTC defecated in a water buffalo. Look, we make fun of moldy water. We make fun of a water buffalo not cleaned out. But when it's hot at NTC, and it is hot at NTC, when it's hot at NTC and you have a water source, the last thing you do is mess with that water source. Somebody, and it's circulated all around the net already with other we got it the minute it happened. But I'm just going to say, don't let them find you. Don't let them find you. The mad shitters out there defecating in a shit in a freaking water buffalo. I'm just saying. We were literally contemplating in amongst the team. Man, the officer admins were like, "I want to throw the book at him," and the SO admins were like, "We wouldn't beat. We'll beat his ass." So hey, there's even rumors of until somebody fesses up, there might be an extended rotation. Rumor has it, of course, all provided rumors. But yeah, I'm just gonna say right now to the individual that defecated in a water buffalo NTC, yeah, they looking for you. So, all right. So, you guys have been keeping up on what's going on with the Angry Cops story. Richard High Rich High, we call him, Drill Sergeant High, has discussed and talked about all what is happening over in the Buffalo school system. And you guys know the reported, unreported. They're coming back saying that they're untruths, and there are wash clothes after 2,300 in the barracks. You're going to get it. Yeah, exactly. Untruths talking about the case of what they've recently posted. I think their last post on social media that was a tweet was in April 26th. At about what time did they post it? I mean, it really doesn't matter what time, but 5:48. Was it 5:40? No, 7:48 p.m. 5:48 p.m. I'm going through the timelines. I'm going through different timelines because everyone's giving me information, saying that these allegations are allegations, and the Buffalo Public Schools maintains a close and professional relationship with the Buffalo PD, as it means to ensure the safety is a priority. Has prioritized safety, security for students every day. So, okay. Yeah, exactly that, Eric. Eric. Yeah, man. Everyone's been saying that. Ass beating for the water buffalo guy. Just going to say, ass beating's going to happen. And we don't blame you guys. We don't blame you. Anybody, if it's hot and I'm training and I'm doing stuff, the last thing I need to do is refill my canteen from the water buffalo, and it gets me sick. You can get sick. I get it. If you're salty, disgruntled, do something else. I don't know, take a guy down or something like that. But shitting in a freaking water bowl, and there are pictures circulating. Different accounts have been sending, anonymous accounts have been sending us pictures of it, which is already being shared. So, yeah. Yeah, you think you got the scoop, okay? At any rate, so Angry Cops, Richard High made a post about who is this guy? John J. Flynn, former Erie County District Attorney John J. Flynn takes exception to the implication. Just finished reading that book, Atlantic Resolve, The War for Estonia. Great read, and would be good for soldiers. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right. There we go. There's our first. There's our first book review. There we go. Well, I appreciate it, Mike, for providing that review. It was posted in exactly. Stop. We're trying to do the show here. And this is what he posted right here. Former Erie County District Attorney John J. Flynn takes exception to the implication that his office was involved in any cover-ups involving crimes against children or knew any. Now, during the time that this happened, this was he works at another he works at a law firm. Yeah, he works at the full service law firm Lips and Mathias. And that's just he was the DA during the time this happened. So this is the going back and forth. I trust High angry cops. We trust them way more. Obviously, because he was the investigating individual. I'm just, again, this whole fucking thing that's coming out. I can't believe they're going after the messenger. Why would you go after the messenger? Dude. According to a post from Angry Cops, Rich High, John Flynn's an attention-seeking whore who only emerges from his dung heap to feverishly masturbate in front of local news. Quote, a cover-up by the Buffalo School District under my watch, quote, Flynn said. Quote, I categorically deny, which is not true. 5/16/2023 was under your watch. And this is from a social media post from High. So appreciate it, man. Let's that article that's right there is behind a paywall. So I'm gonna go ahead and there's a video that accompanies it. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna open up the video so you guys can see. And this is a video of Shane Cronin arraigned on attempted kidnapping and other charges. Let me throw up the window cap, y'all. That way you guys can see what we're talking about. Let me prepare the video. Hopefully there's no ads on here. Or the last time you guys were all upset because we had ads. Not my fault, sorry. Trim the camera here. What's up, Sports Bar? What's up? All right, let's do this.
Thank you, Your Honor. Next matter before the court is the people of the state of New York versus Shane Cronin under Erie County Legacy Number 00309-2025 and indictment number 71597-25/001. Your Honor, Stephen Pappy and Danielle Debate for the people. I note that the defendant is present in custody alongside his counsel, Mr. Dan Dubois. Your Honor, we are here today for the purposes of arraignment. The defendant was arrested on February 11th, 2025, following an incident at the Buffalo Public School, number 59. The defendant has been remanded to the custody of the Erie County Sheriff's Office since his arrest. Following an approximate 3-month investigation of the District Attorney's Office, this matter was presented to an Erie County grand jury. An indictment was returned on 5 counts. Count 1, attempted kidnapping in the second degree in violation of Penal Law 135.20 as modified by Penal Law 110. Count 2, burglary in the third degree in violation of Penal Law 140.20. Count 3, attempted luring of a child in violation of Penal Law 120.70, subdivision 1 as modified by Penal Law 110. Count 4, attempted assault second in violation of Penal Law 120.05, subdivision 10A as modified by Penal Law 110. And count 5, endangering the welfare of a child, violation of Penal Law 260.10, subsection 1.
All right. So now the article to which was highlighted by Angry Cops. It's basically the article states that more than a year removed from his role as an Erie County District Attorney, John J. Flynn still followed the recent accusations against the Buffalo Public Schools and law enforcement by Buffalo PD Richard High. Flynn is skeptical of High's claims. Whatever, dude. No, that's not the SF guy. You're talking about the SF guy that The Army says that wasn't escaping Leavenworth, even though he was escaping Leavenworth with somebody else. Anyways, we'll get to that in a minute. Well, we'll get to that once we get a follow-up from some other sources. Flynn is skeptical of Hive claims. He takes exception to the implication that his office knew that he was involved in any cover-ups involving crimes against children, or that he knew any. Of course, on the Unsubscribe podcast, High accused the school district of obstructing investigations by the district attorney's office. In an interview Friday, a former top prosecutor in the county noted that High's accusations of years of cover-ups concerning crimes involving school children would imply that Flynn was involved. You know what's always funny? When doctors or lawyers or writers or authors get mixed up in a mix, they immediately go to, I'm going to sue you, libel, defamation, yada, 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 written, spoken, blah, blah, blah. They always resort to that. Literally, High was just passing the information of what he knew. It's almost like a lot of how victims of crimes, which we're going to go ahead and cut after this story, victims of crimes are never listened to. Obviously, nobody wants to save their ass. They're not going to take the word of a child. He strongly denied the claims that High made on the podcast and cautioned that sometimes slow, deliberate process does not mean that an investigation is being stonewalled. He said that the Buffalo School District has always been cooperative with law enforcement. Yeah. Quote, the first narrative that this has been going on for years, and that for years and years it's been a cover-up by the Buffalo. Why did I say Buffalo? Buffalo School District is tangentially in law enforcement as well. I don't speak English. English is my second language. As well would follow under my watch. Quote, Flynn said, that I categorically deny. That narrative is not true. Everyone's coming up about this. Narrative's not true. Narrative's not true. The former district attorney who now works for the Buffalo law firm, I don't say Lippis. It's spelled L-I-P-P-E-S. So it's Lippis. Lip Mathias explained that schools in their nature by design protect the information of their students, the overwhelming majority of whom are minors. That can add extra steps and significantly slow evidence collection, he said, which might seem laborious for police detectives to eagerly move an investigation forward. I could have sworn they were posting receipts. Unsubscribe was. So I'm just saying. Quote, does law enforcement over the years get frustrated of that kind of mantra? Flynn said about student identity protections. Yeah, sometimes at the end of the day, we've always worked it out, unquote, again. So one of the focus of High's claims, now mind you, this is under the BuffaloNews.com article that they posted. One of the focus of High's claims was February incident involving Dr. Charles Drew Science Magnet School, which shares a building with the Buffalo Museums of Science. Illinois native, that guy that you saw in that video being arraigned was originally Shane K. Cronin, was originally charged with felony burglary, misdemeanor assault charges after he entered the elementary school from a museum through an adjoining door, approached a young student. When the school administrator intervened, punched and shoved the assistant principal to the ground, according to Erie County DA's office. On the April 26th podcast, High said he was the detective. Now, mind you, that this time I'm quoting from the BuffaloNews.com article. That's behind a paywall. On April 26th podcast, High said he is a detective on the case and noted that the incident was much more severe than it would have immediately reported following the arrest. High claimed Cronin, quote, grabbed a young female child and male child and tried to leave, unquote. We believe Rich. And that the school district had not reported the abduction attempt and did not disclose that the second child was involved. Failed to tell the second child's parents in an abduction. Now, this is in a later video of the incident, deleted video of the incident. So the second child's experience is what, I'm quoting the fucking BuffaloNews.com, is what put him over the edge, said High, who was hailed on social media as a whistleblower and a spokesperson for the Buffalo Police Department, has not responded to several messages requesting a response to High's claims. Mind you, again, this is from the BuffaloNews.com. Asking if the accusations of the podcast have impacted High's status at the department. Why should it? A grand jury indicted Cronin last week on more serious charges, including second-degree attempted kidnapping and attempting luring of a child to commit a felony, which support High's claims of an attempted abduction, right? Don't it do that? Of course, he keeps saying, this is Flynn, of course, it's quote, this is simply not true. This is simply not true. And let me just go ahead. I'm going to scroll through this article here because a lot of it, quote, law enforcement has to explain, this is what Flynn said, quote, law enforcement has to explain the powers that be within the district. Here's the reason why it's important that we talk to this kid or get this information. Funny, it didn't happen when it happened, I guess, unquote. And Flynn said that he had less first-hand experience of how the video is collected on a specific school incident that usually handled by the assistant district attorneys. Flynn could not speak to the video in the school 5-9 case, but he did not believe that there was a prior situations where school officials deleted. Man. So there you go. That's just one portion of. That's just sort of kind of the update of what he said. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. Is what he's trying to say. Rich is bullshitting about. I don't know, man. I believe Rich. We believe Rich. We support angry cops. Angry cops. Sorry, I'm half Mexican, man. I think about crops and lawn landscape all the time. And construction sites. Anyways, do it in the Bill Clinton voice. Yeah. At any rate, so going back and forth, getting these updates, and there was a weird post that happened. A Buffalo School Board meeting member swears and gives the finger during a Zoom meeting. Now, what's kind of funny is, well, we'll just play the video. Again, this is from the Buffalo News. A lot of the stuff that we're seeing right now is being provided by the media that, I don't know, does it seem like it's being objective to or counter to what High is saying? Well, this video right here is a Buffalo school member, I guess, losing their shit. It's a funny video. Okay, hang on. Let me cue it up for you all, and you can see it. Here you go. And go.
Project. I spoke at a community meeting. I spoke once again at.
That was all this that we discussed could have been discussed when the resolution is on the table. That was my assumption, and even red was where I realized that there's some things going on. The reason I did not communicate with you since we're ready to already settled.
I always welcome additional conversation.
We already settled we were going to have it on Tuesday. There was no reason to bring it up again in another conversation.
We have a board member that's giving people the middle finger on a screen.
Sorry?
What?
There was a board member that was just swearing and giving the middle finger to everybody on the screen.
I have additional conversation about. I always welcome additional conversation.
We already settled we were going to have it on Tuesday. There was no reason to bring it up again in another conversation.
We have a board member that's giving people the middle finger on a screen.
Sorry?
What?
There was a board member that was just swearing and giving the middle finger to everybody on the screen.
This meeting. Can we please call this meeting?
Man, I've been in meetings like that before. Hasn't anybody been in meetings like that before? A little too much wine. Hey, what's up, Branko? Man, what you doing? Hey, real quick, Branko. Why you going off on the fucking on the sports bar last night? You know we don't tolerate that stuff. You don't need to go after our hosts. Here comes the autism army. Is it the tism? Oh, just today. So yeah, what's up with that? What's up with that, Branko? I saw that. And normally we don't tolerate all the drama for no reason. Why is that? What's the reason for the drama, Branko? Yeah, our phone lines are gone, man. We use Skype. Oh, minute, we use Skype for that stuff. So I'm just kind of curious of why Branko? Why the heat? Why no love? Your host should have kept his word. What are you talking about, Branko? Kept his word for what? Were you just busting balls and left out any context? See, that's the thing. Our host should have what? Man, kept a word of what? I'll observe the comment. I'll observe the comments while we're still talking about what are you even talking about? So there was the fat electrician posted, "Hey, Buffalo schools, you should have a representative that would likely come on the Unsubscribed podcast and share your side of the story. I'd love to have him on." Angry Cops says, "I choose Paulette Woods." The individual that was flipping off the camera and going off. This thing's a freaking mess, man. It is an unbelievable mess. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. What are you even? Your host brought up a sponsorship, offered to pay, and then removed his deal. What are you talking about? I am unaware of that. That right there would have been something that would have been discussed with me, but you don't definitely put it on the fucking TL. You discuss it behind the scenes and talk to the individual behind the scenes. We don't discuss business on the freaking TL. That's just the way it is. So here's what Angry Cop says. "I choose Paulette Woods. This is her at one of the board meetings responding to someone's concerns about the schools," and you can see it. "Hey, and what's up? Massey is out. Is out for the minute. He does a lot of traveling. His work keeps him busy." So, anyways, yeah, dude, if there's any business that we are working with U.S. Army, W.T.F Moments, or W.T.F Nation Radio, you don't put it all over the fucking TL, because then I get involved. And it doesn't help. So take it up with him, take it up behind the scenes, but don't put it on the TL. Anywho, so that was the last update from Angry Cops. I'm pretty sure he's going to do another pod or another video. And once, of course, I get it, then we will be providing you guys and gals all the updates. So, anyways, dude, I'm Branko. I'm saying, take it up with him. Jump in the inbox and talk to him. So that's all I'm going to talk about it. So real quick, I'm just giving you since we're talking about protecting our kids. The FBI just put out this weird freaking this weird group called 764. Hey, what's up, Keith? Targeting children. Now, and this is a thing that's kind of, if you guys are not on Twitter or X, you don't see all the drama that's happening behind it. You might see Facebook is really bad at this stuff anyways when it comes to algorithms or deleting people and removing their removing links and stuff like that. But on X, there is a whole shitstorm of fucking drama happening about this group called 764, named after the a Texas zip code where reportedly where it originated from, and has been linked to acts of extortion and abuse targeting minors, according to the feds. And FBI is also warning that members are using popular gaming platforms, social media apps, and self-harm forums to find vulnerable children between the ages of 9 and 17. Now, what's tripped me out is that this is not really being discussed other than other platforms and other forums, and those that come out of the woodwork to defend them or fight them. So more than 250 investigations in 764 related cases in every field office across the country, making it the number one digital threat to kids. Detective working on these cases, and this is an article, I'm reading some blurbs from Newsweek, have told authorities to treat 764 more as an ideology than a specific group. The predators often befriend victims before coercing them into hurting themselves and into producing explicit material that's being used for blackmail. Now, the group targets young people through platforms such as Minecraft, Roblox, Instagram, and X, Twitter. The FBI describes the group as a nihilistic, violent, extremist network, NVE. That sounds like a full operation. Yeah, dude. Hey, what's up, Insomniac? In some cases, predators escalate threats by swatting or making false emergency calls to send armed police to victims' homes. They build bombs, and this is according to to Detective Tom Van Tassel, who's investigated a 764 case out of Vernon, Connecticut. Quote, they'll build bonds with these people and encourage them to take these sexually explicit videos and share them, and then they use that to extort them. It's almost like revenge porn, but on minors, though. That's disgusting. The trend evolved from the social media group Discord, in which adults would attempt to push extremist and gore-related content to children online. Though the creator of the original group, Bradley Cadenhead, was arrested in 2023 and sentenced to 80 years for possession of child porn, 764 has spread across the internet, which some cases being reported outside the U.S. In April, the FBI said that a 21-year-old Leonidas Varagianis had been arrested for playing an organizational role in the 764 community. Yeah, exactly that, U.S. Army memes. Disgusting, man. It's very disgusting. So, the Department of Justice in a statement said, a quote, 764 is a network of nihilistic violent extremists who engage in criminal conduct in the United States and abroad, seeking to destroy civilized society through the corruption and exploitation of vulnerable populations, which often include minors. The 764 network accelerationist goals include social unrest and the downfall of the current world order, including the United States government, unquote. So currently right now, the FBI is using its aggressive pursuit of 764 members in the U.S. and abroad. Arrests include Prayson Nepal, a North Carolina resident known as Trippy. As the group remains active. What's up, Josh? What you doing, man? As the group remains active, authorities have instructed parents to monitor their children's online activities closely and foster open communication. And that's another thing, too, is what I really don't... We're the parents in all this. I get some children who are single, who have single parents or something like that. I kind of get that, or they're not available, or they're not online, or they're not able to watch their children online. But a lot of stuff is coming from, I guess you would say, quote unquote, normal homes or nuclear families, mom and dad, parents in the house. Why aren't they monitoring their social media? I guarantee it, if parents were to look at it more, and of course I'm not fucking blaming them at all, but I'm pretty sure if parents were a little bit more aware of this, then I guarantee it, you'll probably have more cases coming out. Because a lot of these guys try to be edgelordy and try to fucking do this. Oh yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I'm cool, or I'm Which to me, I think, yeah, okay. The swatting stuff is what trips me out. There is so much. I'm still going through I'm scratching the surface of this, and I'm going through a lot of this to see. Yeah, exactly that, Insomniac. They don't monitor because they don't care enough. The world is too busy, even for adults, I guess. When you see adults on TikTok, what's that one commercial where the guy finds the weed and that old ad council ad? Where did you learn this? Where did you get this information from? I learned it from you. The parents are usually trying to be their kids' friends and less intrusive parents. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep, that's a good point too, Keith. That is a very good point. Me and my child are twins. No, you're supposed to be the parent. You're not supposed to be their twin. You're supposed to be their friend. You're supposed to be their mentor. Hey, coming from a different style of, I don't know. I just watch the web. I watch social media and see how parents are saying, well, how they were treated when they were growing up, and who was the more stricter parent, or they both come from stricter parents. And then you have some that are just like, oh, well, I'll never do that to my child. Let them do what they want. They have every single device known to mankind. No codes, no nothing. All right, well, there you go. That's probably why you don't know why predators are seeking out your children. Wasn't there going to be another investigation? Yeah, this was as of May 9th. Are you talking about the school? Or are you talking about these 764 guys? The school. Okay. Yeah, there was supposed to be like a third-party investigation. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the story that I talked about earlier. Yeah, I'll have to get back with you on that one to see what what Rich says about it, because I'm pretty sure that there's probably some updates before, or maybe I should just have him back on as a fucking guest. He's been on this podcast like 3 fucking times, so I don't see why not. Have him come on and shoot the breeze and give us a timeline and all that. I'm sure he'd be game for that. But anywho, what was the other thing about it? I'm trying to look for the. There was another story on here about 764 stuff. Hang on. What's the other one? Yeah, if kids didn't have their devices, yeah, exactly. I don't know. What's a good question? What is a good age for your child to have a device? Is it dependent on maturity? Is it dependent on what their maturity level is going to be? Are they responsible kids, defiant kids, or whatever? My parents used an industrial grade cargo strap used used on the space shuttle on your sister, you and your sister. Okay. I'm just going to say, if 18, Insomniacs is 18. Okay. 18 is the age where you think that is you don't think kids should have, I think Real ID should be applied to your social media account. Oh, that's okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now that we're adapted to AI, immediately. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Now I don't. What do you mean? You never got your own Switch before? You ever got your Switch? Ever 2x4 socket, La Manguera, fucking Dimension lumber. So again. 18 years old is what you think. Now that Holly brings up a good point about AI. AI is how do I say this? AI is producing creative content by idiots. Like, I'm not creative. Okay. I'm not. I use AI for memes and jokes and stuff like that. But it's crazy to see our own government use AI and stuff when there's individuals in the government that says, we should use AI, but yet posting with AI. It's just so cringe to me when you see somebody missing a finger or extra fingers. Or, I saw one of a girl and she had boobs, right? But then she had like an extra half boob next to her. I'm like, what the hell is this? Dude, one of my friends tagged her 11-year-old on Facebook. I looked on his account and he has 5 friends. One was a juicy girl from Thailand. Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's just like, what? Social media. I think for social media, I think if you want to start up an account for like your youngins, like Baby Eyes has an email account, and that's the only thing because he has an iPad for his school stuff, and so he has to log into a school pad, and so that right there helps out with his math, his phonics, his spelling, and stuff like that. That's, that right there, I think is the limit. And also, there's codes amongst the house on trying to, for him to try to break in, because he's done that before. He's attempted to crack codes on Xbox. For you guys that, friends, Xbox, he jumps on and uses my account on Xbox so he can kick that ass on World of Tanks. Very, very screaming. He doesn't wear the headphones. He doesn't have the mic on. But people are going off on him. You can hear him because he's kicking their ass on World of Tanks. And it's not me playing. So if you guys are like, hey, I saw you on Xbox, and that wasn't me. Yeah, exactly that, Heath. Dad, can I have a boyfriend? Yes, the Lord Jesus is your boyfriend. Blessed. Oh man, yeah. So what is a good age for teenager or a child to have any type of device or social media account. Yeah, we are moving in more advanced area, either adapt or be left behind. That's a good point as well, Holly. Very good point. Very good point. And you can have individuals that are pretty. I'm gonna tell you. I mean, I will say, the youngest, he's his phonics, his speech, and stuff like that has helped out because of the advanced technology and understanding and infant. You know what you want? An infant. Get that ball rolling. I don't know, man. I'd say maybe if you want to get to like shapes and discussions and knowing how to speak, phonetics, phonics, English, Spanish, German, French, Japanese, or Chinese would be the languages to use. Those are the languages that are primarily used in business anyways. Didn't Texas change it so kids can't have social media now? Dude, Texas needs to make up their mind on what is. Texas needs to make up their mind on what is what are some of the hills they like to die on. They really do. Some of the laws that they've passed, I think they're trying. They've always fought against cannabis. Wait, this is a Monday edition. Can we talk about that? This is not Sergeant's time, so it's not a DD-214. This is a DD-214 show. For behavioral health, psychedelics, Texas has always been like that. They really, matter of fact, let me Googleize it. Texas Texas law on social media, because I know they're really sick. Let's see what the Google machine. And this is according to the Texas Standard. The Texas social media law remains blocked after the U.S. Supreme Court sends it back to the lower court, I guess. There you go. The legal battle centers on Texas law, preventing large social media companies from censoring users. Is that what you're talking about? No, there's another one here. Age requirements. Let's see if that's that one. I don't recall. Age. Usage. Let's see. Let's say. Texas. Oh, okay. This is as of 11 days ago. You are correct, Insomniac. Texas House passes bill banning Texans under 18 from having social media accounts. Okay. There we go. Oh, did you see that, Skip? Oh, dude, man. U.S. Army W.T.F moments. If the page goes down, guys, you know what happened. So meme did it, even though we post sex toys a lot. So the bill's author, State Representative Jared Patterson, called the social media the most dangerous legal thing minors can access. Access. Texas politicians only do. Yeah, I'll tell you what, we go back and forth about don't California my Texas, but I remember growing up in California, a ton of Texans were moving to California. We called them Okies. Well, I mean, I can't say that either because my family was part of that too. So I was born there. So it passed Wednesday. No, wait, I'm sorry. What was the last thing? Was that? Yeah, May. So it was May. The article as of May 1st, and it was passed Wednesday that would restrict the access of social media to minors under 18. Well, there you go. Way to go, Insomniac. Appreciate it. The legislation was born out of concerns of the mental health and safety of young users. Yes. Hell yeah. I mean, going back to what I was saying about parents not monitoring social media accounts of their children or their bully-ass children. Always end up catching in the events where a child takes their own life because they were bullied so bad. And everyone's like, oh, it wasn't so bad. And then we find out, oh, no, my child. Find out how bad they were. And children are very susceptible to stuff like that, as opposed to, and probably exposed more to nudity than anything else. But social media, yeah. So, anyways, let me see what's going on here. Let me tap out of here to make sure everybody's ready. I want to make sure Sean's ready to come on to shoot the breeze. go. So, let's see. Is Shawn showing up yet? Let's see. Hey, Shawn, you can come in if you want. Doors open. But anyways, I'm gonna take a break right quick. Everyone, relax. Oh, man, he's popping in there quick, man. He's fast. It's got to call him, and he's right there. Yeah, hang on. I'm gonna go on break. We're gonna talk to Shawn VanDiver from the Afghan evac. You guys know this is something close to my heart, and so I'm so glad that he's able to come on and shoot the breeze with us. So let me get everything set up, and with that, shots, stand by.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Soldier's tale of wild misdeeds, from the chow hall to the PT grind. You won't believe the things you'll find. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private tensions far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army W.T.F, you can't deny. Army of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos, the truth is told. From the field to the base, the legends grow. Stuck in the mud so deep, a midnight rain, no time for sleep. It moves straight like golden hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army W.T.F, you can't deny. Army of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos, the truth is told. From the field to the base, the legends grow. Army of the force, the madness we know. The mud so deep, a midnight rain, no time for sleep. It moves straight like golden hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army W.T.F, you can't deny. Army of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos, the truth is told. From the field to the base, the legends grow. Army of the force, the madness we know. In the ranks where the wild things roam, every soldier's got a tale of their own. From the absurd to the downright strange. Army of the force, it never will change. So raise a glass to the tales untold. In the Army's world where the brave and bold live the moments that make us say Army of the force every single day.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back. Bringing you to the second half of the Monday edition with my guest, Shawn VanDiver. How you doing, man?
I'm just so fucking grand. How are you?
There we go. Boy, you really took that card out.
I was in the Navy, man. What do you want from me?
Oh man, no, I was just telling Shawn from Afghan evac, and I said, hey man, you can say whatever you want. There's no blurbs, there's no censors, and he immediately started right off the top rope, man. Thanks for hanging out.
We like to come correct around.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for hanging out, man. Real quick, tell us about yourself.
Sure. So, Navy veteran. I'm based out here in San Diego, California. Lovely San Diego, California. I served for 12 years. Did a bunch of deployments. Served a lot down south, a lot up the coast of Iraq. I never served in Afghanistan, but I got involved because the GWAT generation, we all sort of stick together, right? And I got a call from a buddy. I got out in 2013. I went to work at PlayStation. Then I went to work at Deloitte. I worked on some political campaigns, ran a veterans nonprofit, have sort of been in and around the national security and veterans spaces ever since I got out of the Navy. And I have 2 kids, and I live, like I said, here in San Diego.
Must be nice, man. What's the weather like over there right now? It's like
it doesn't suck. It's let's see. It is. I got to clear out all these notifications from my Afghan friends. 65 degrees and sunny right now.
Oh man. Oh gosh, must be nice. So you did your time in your Navy. What did you do in the Navy exactly? Or can you talk about some of it? Can you talk about it? I'm sure you can't, but
I can talk all about it. So I joined the Navy in February 2001, before 9/11, before all those. What I thought was going to be like a booze cruise. I thought I would like get an education and see the world and have a good time. I did that, but I immediately, like September 2001, I ended up becoming a base police officer in Millington, Tennessee, and there was no fence around the base. So I was 17 years old. They gave me a squad car, a gun, and a badge. I didn't have a driver's license, but I had a lot of enthusiasm, and I was running around like a maniac there. Then I went and became a fire controlman. So not controlling fires, actually starting them. I worked on the conventional weapon systems for 10 years. So the Mark 92 fire control system on frigates, USS Thatch is where I served. I ran the weapon systems division there and the fire controlman division there. So gunners, mates, and FCs. And then went from there, became a Navy instructor for the Mark 92 system. Then I went and they were like, well, you've spent 10 years doing conventional Mark 92 stuff. We're going to make you an Aegis technician. We're going to change everything around because the Navy. So did a couple years on Aegis, served on the USS Chancellorsville, had a great time. I went to mast 4 times. I got 4 NJPs. So, but I promoted every time I was up. So I had quite the career. Wasn't ever really good at authority, which I think serves me well now.
Wow. Okay. Well, salute then on that one, man. That's hey, there's not too many people that talk about their NJPs until we find out later, and we're like, hey, man, did you have a J? How come you didn't tell us?
4.
Yeah, 4. So, what brings you to the situation where you decided to come up with Afghan evac? Tell us about Afghan evac.
Sure. So I was sitting here at my computer, and I got a text message. Like so many others did, right? It was August 15th. Got a text message that said, hey, brother, I had to go to the top of this mountain. We don't have cell service. We're surrounded by the Taliban. We're running out of ammunition. I think I'm going to die. Will you grant my last wish and help get my family back to San Diego? Now, I didn't serve in Afghanistan, so who did that come from, right? It came from my buddy Lucky. And Lucky and I met in 2017 during the first Trump administration when they went to do a visa ban, like they're also trying to do now. And I called a press conference as the leader of a group called the Truman National Security Project. I said, hey, presidents get to do whatever they want with their policy. Like, absolutely. It's so important, Mr. President, that you know that the action of this executive order is going to cause our wartime allies an inability to come here. And I brought in a couple of allies to share their stories, and it was carried all over the world. One of the guys that I brought in was that guy, Lucky. Lucky and I became good friends. And like I said, that was January 2017. April of 2021, when President Biden announced that that we would be pulling out of Afghanistan by September 11th, the local paper asked me, hey, Shawn, will you help pull together some op-eds? Will you write an op-ed as sort of one of the leading national security voices in San Diego? Would you write an op-ed about it? And then would you pull together folks who served in Afghanistan and Afghans themselves, people who lived in and grew up there? I said, sure. So, of course, the first person I thought of was Lucky. And I reached out and said, hey, man, you heard. Would you be willing to do an op-ed? We would help him, like, sort of craft his story. He said, yes. We did those op-eds. And funnily enough, I had a realization a year into Afghan evac, like, shit, what did I say? But so we do these op-eds, and that was April. In August, I texted him, said, hey, man, in early August, late July, I said, hey, man, you doing okay? He was like, yeah, still here. I texted him again as I started seeing the Taliban roll through. And it felt to me like, and you served in Iraq, you'll remember this, Father's Day 2016, when ISIS was storming through. And I don't know about you, but I felt like, what the fuck? And like in Neeson, I had developed a certain set of skills, which included emergency management, so dealing with the crisis, managing a crisis from an emergency operations center. I was operating in the national security spaces, national security policy spaces, in political spaces. I had worked on the Biden campaign, so I knew all the national security people, and I was furious. And so I knew that the administration wouldn't be taking calls from people they didn't know. I knew that they weren't going to take calls from people that are up on the news saying Joe Biden needs to resign, Tony Blinken needs to resign, and all that. And I knew that I had these lasting relationships, both in Lucky, who was impacted by this, and in people in the White House and the Pentagon. One of my good friends was the DASD for Afghanistan and Pakistan, the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense. And I was so mad at all of them, but I also knew the whole world was mad at them, that their phones are ringing off the hook, and that we needed to make sure that all of these people, all of our friends that were standing up to try to help, were doing only things that wouldn't get people killed, right? So we had to talk. So Lucky stole a jingle truck, talked his way through 10 Taliban checkpoints, got to Eagle Base, got on a black helicopter and got over to HKIA. But before he did all that, in the meantime, between being stuck 8 hours outside of Kabul and getting to the airport, I sort of sprang into action. I was in 20 different chats. And I was like, man, everybody needs to talk. So we started Afghan evac. We started these Monday or these morning and evening sync calls where everybody was invited. If you were working on this, you were invited. Mm-hmm. We did. Everybody got 45 seconds to talk, which, that's not a long time, especially when you're like harried. But people got it. Yeah. So it was 15 seconds on what happened over the last 12 hours, 15 seconds on what was going to happen in the next 12 hours, and 15 seconds on barriers and roadblocks and what you needed to succeed. And that worked really well. We started that August 18th or maybe the 17th. And on the 21st, we had this communications call where we were like, okay, I thought all the names of the groups were stupid and I didn't want to have a name, but I was convinced that we needed to have some moniker to unite under.
Right.
And I didn't Digital Dunkirk sounds nice, but it wasn't about us. It wasn't about the military, right? This was about Afghans. This is about interpreters and Afghan forces and all these folks that for one reason or another stood up for the idea of America.
Yep.
And we're now in danger because of their relationship to us. And we were screwing the pooch by leaving before they had gotten out. So Afghan evac it was about them. And we were very clear by the end of August, we had 50 members, and Lucky was out. And, we weren't working with government until after August officially. Now we have 250 organizations that are members. Not all of them are active. Like some of them have like gone away. Some of them have left.
Right.
Some folks didn't like that we said nice things about the Biden administration when they were doing the right thing, when they were building enduring welcome. Some of them thought that I was not going after their folks, but really they just didn't understand how the things worked. And I didn't fault anybody for being mad, right? Like this is fucking terrible
and frustrating too. Probably frustrating as fuck too, man. It's just, it is.
Yeah. And people don't know what was happening, right? Nobody, like I had this shitty position of being the go-between between the White House and all. We built this partnership with the State Department and then the White House and DHS and DOD. And I got to tell you, man, it was the most American thing I've ever done, but it was the hardest thing because it pitted me between my fellow veterans and I.
Mm-hmm.
And, I did it because it was the right thing to do and because the administration was doing what they needed to do. But, I have no regrets, but it was like that Joe Biden didn't have the courage to stand up and talk about the withdrawal during the first State of the Union afterward. I was so fucking mad, man. I actually will break some news here. I yelled at Ron Klain, at his chief of staff. I called him and was like, what the fuck, man? And then I said, hey, I want to come meet with you. And 3 days later, I was in the West Wing yelling at the White House chief of staff, like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they were never going to let me come back, but it was worth it, right? I got my shit out.
Right. It's off your chest, and at least they know where you're coming from. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry, I had to say all that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I got to get off my chest. You're going to hear it now. Now, the whole. I'm glad you were talking about the processes of it. What were some of the processes that you were running into roadblocks? I mean, what roadblocks were you hitting basically in these processes?
Sure. Well, look, the truth is, and this isn't a political statement, the first time the Trump administration was in office, they did what they're doing now, right? They deconstructed the resettlement system because Stephen Miller doesn't like refugees. So that sounds good if you're like, we got to get rid of these immigrants, right?
Right.
But the reality is that without those resettlement systems, you can't resettle Christians fleeing persecution. You can't resettle white South Afrikaners who were somehow oppressed, I guess. You can't resettle our wartime allies. So those systems had all been decimated. President Biden in February of 2001 had done an executive order. I can't remember the number now, but essentially it said, we need to rebuild this and we need to find creative ways to do it. They didn't move fast enough. And they did extend the date from May till August for the withdrawal, or May till it was supposed to be September 11th. And they didn't have systems set up for relocating our wartime allies, right? They didn't have systems set up for commandos to get help to get out of Afghanistan. You'll remember that they were like, hey, yo, if you're a refugee, if you're not an Afghan, look, you can come here, but you got to get out of Afghanistan first, which is a fucking impossible problem.
Yeah.
Right. So what we did is we went to the State Department, the White House, and we said, look, you have lost the trust of Afghans. We have it. In order to make this right, in order to get it right, like what a relocation should look like, you need a multi-year end-to-end plan for keeping our promises to our wartime allies. That includes relocation from Afghanistan, sustainment in a third country while they're doing all their immigration security vetting, and then relocation from there to the United States with accompanying resettlement, right? Now, they fucking did it. We said it had to be redundant. We said that refugees had to be moved from Afghanistan. They did all of it. And what resulted was the safest, most secure, legal immigration pathway our country's ever seen. And that's why we thought that when the Trump administration came in, that this thing might be okay. Now, and they also, President Trump had a lot to say. Let's take a step back. I'll remind you, President Trump negotiated the Doha Agreement, right? He brought the Taliban to Camp David. They negotiated the Doha Agreement. They released 5,000 Afghan Taliban prisoners. Like, they did all of those things before Joe Biden took over. Joe Biden came in, pushed it off a few months. It wasn't enough to rebuild the resettlement system. Blew it in August, right? Like, they tout all these things like, oh, we did the greatest airlift in American history. Great. We still left 500,000 people behind. Like, what are you doing, man?
Yep.
We're not celebrating that. Like, don't tell me it's not chaotic. Don't tell me that this is okay. It's not fucking okay. Joe Biden gets into office. They do all of these things. They blow it a bunch, but then they build this system too slow, right? Like, there's 10,000 families that still need to be reunified. I don't know if you have kids. I have kids.
Yeah, I do.
I have a 4-year-old who's turning 5, who was 1 when this started. And I got to tell you, man, if I didn't have her wait on me to, like, as I was working through all the personality conflicts and the government bullshit and like all the nonsense that was out there, I don't know what I would have done. I've been able to see my kids every day.
Right.
And the truth is that there are 10,000 Afghans for whom that's not true. And we had to be the mechanism for family reunification to start. We had to build a form, and then we had to force. I had to threaten the State Department multiple times that I would air their dirty laundry if they didn't launch this form. They took so long. I leaked a story about it. But, like, if you go back, you can look and see an Axios story. It's like, hey, good news. State Department's going to be launching this form for family reunification. I leaked that because I'd given them deadlines to let us know, and they never met the deadlines. So on the meeting that they were supposed to meet this deadline, where I said, hey, this is going to get uncomfortable if you don't do it, instead of like blowing them up, I did this positive story saying that they were going to, like, it's so great that they're going to do this family reunification form. And they were like caught with their dicks in their hands, right? Like, oh,
I was about to say that they realized that they were not, oh shit, you're going to put me on the spot? Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So what was funny though, is that story popped during the call that we were on. It was only an hour call.
Mm-hmm.
And I tweeted up saying like, hey, we need you to put this story up. The story was going regardless.
Right.
So I said, hey, I need it to pop in this time frame. And it did. It was great. So they were like, and they still didn't get it launched. I had to go to like the number 3 at the State Department and say, hey, Mr. Ambassador, this thing hasn't happened yet. And here's the reason why. It seems stupid. Can you fix it? And they did. Anyway, lots and lots of dumb.
Yeah, I was about to say that. And
so
we get,
there were so many people that wanted to do it.
Right. Now was there, I mean, so that, okay, so didn't it though, once everybody realized that you were doing this, did that finally like, okay, now you're the point man. What do you want to do? What are your goals here? Did you have to, like, I don't know, re-explain the wheel to some of these individuals that, hey, look, this is what I'm trying to fucking do. This is what we're trying to knock out. Now let's go. I mean, did anybody from the State Department at least listen to you?
Oh yeah. Look, like Secretary Blinken was awesome. We asked him to top of his priority list for his entire time in office. And he did. He met with us several times. I met with his chief of staff all the time. I got to go out and visit the platforms that had been built out for this purpose. Like, we were hand in hand like this. And we I mean, I wasn't nice to them, right? Like, this wasn't like, I wasn't covering their asses for anything.
Mm-hmm.
This was very much a loyal opposition situation, right? But Secretary Blinken wanted to do this. His chief of staff wanted to do it. The undersecretaries, the deputy secretaries, they all wanted to do this. Deputy Secretary Rich Verma was incredible on this. Some of the like, when we would run into bureaucratic roadblocks, because we worked with everybody at the top, in the middle, and the bottom, right? And at the ground level. And when we would start running into roadblocks, I would simply go and have our little interagency meeting and say, hey, here's the challenge at DOD, DHS, State Department, White House, etc.
Gotcha.
And they would work together and they would clear it out. It worked so well. And here's why. I'm not magic. It's not me, right? It's civic engagement. And I want all of your viewers, all of your listeners to know that. Like, when you get out of the military, your voice matters a lot more than going against a brick wall of some sergeant or some so you guys in the Army say sergeant. You guys can't.
Yeah, exactly. Sergeant, or for your case, chief. And the Air Force is, hey, bro.
Yeah, the Air Force is like, what up, man?
Oh, yeah, what's up, homie?
So you're not going up against some officer, some NCO, and their word is gold. No, like, you have an opportunity to make your voice heard, and your members of Congress want to hear it. Your local leaders want to hear it, And what we proved is that civic engagement can accomplish globally important things. 200,000 Afghans are here because of what we did. And that's fucking magic.
Now, most of these, most of the individuals that are here, you have it broken down in different classifications, right? Different types of refugees. So, can you give us an explanation of what different types of classifications are in?
Sure. So I'll talk a little bit about the different types of wartime allies.
There you
right?
go. There you go.
So we've got when people hear wartime allies, they think about like the United States of AL, or they think about like the SIVs, right? They think about interpreters, drivers, cultural advisors, things like that. And those folks are wartime allies. Those folks are their work is codified into law, right? The special immigrant visa, but it's a fucked up program because the onus is totally on them. They have to keep all their paperwork, right? They have to keep all their bullshit certificates that they get from you would get an AKO certificate. They essentially have to keep all those somewhere over 20 years. They have to keep their badges. They have to hope that their supervisor doesn't keel over and die, hope that their company doesn't go underwater, hope that their supervisor, their letter writers aren't selling letters and committing fraud somewhere. And they have to hope that they're not taken advantage of in any way, shape, or form in a way that causes problems for their immigration status down the road, right? So they go and they apply. It takes 3, 5, 10 years sometimes. It's only supposed to take 90 days.
Right.
But that's SIVs, right? That's in what we call the consular track. So you get a visa, you show up, it's an immigrant visa. It's modeled on a program, though, and here's what's messed up. The reason why it's like so jacked up is that it's modeled on a program that like local embassy staff do. If you serve the United States for 20 years in, say, Manila, you can, in your last year, put together your packet and walk around and introduce all your colleagues to your kids and take pictures with the ambassador. And as a thank you for your service to our country, people who are employed by the United States can come here as a special immigrant. Now, when they passed the Afghan Allies Protection Act and all these different acts that established the SIV program for Iraqis and Afghans, they modeled it after that program. Now, what I think it should look like is not an immigrant visa program. It should be a special program that gives you rapid access to the country, gives you rapid adjustment of status, right, to green card, and then quick movement to American citizenship. You should be able to, when the risk letter hit, like when the risk moment hits, when Mullah Baradar pops in and knocks on your door and says, "Hey man, we're going to kill you because you helped the Afghan or you helped the Americans," you should be able to hit a button and get out within a week.
Exactly.
And the only way that you can do that is if the vetting starts when you start your job, right? So you go to Indeed.com, you apply, you fill out all this information, and every year you would have to update it, just like an SF-86 or something like that, right? And then if we do that, then we have a program that's sustainable. The onus is like, it doesn't invite fraud because the onus is on the government and not Afghans. Now, people may be like, you may have heard we'll talk about vetting in a moment when I talk about both, but the SIV program is rife with fraud in that people will try to apply all the time. But the reason why fraud is not a massive issue is that the chief of mission process handles a lot of that. Through the chief of mission process, you apply, you send in all your paperwork, your letter of recommendation, your HR letter, all your other shit. And some American staffer will look at it and say, okay, here's a letter of recommendation. Let's call the person on this letter. Let's email them and validate that it's real. Okay, here's an HR letter. Let's call the company and validate that that's real. And a myriad other issues. They validate your identity and your work history, right? You have to have been employed for at least a year. A lot of people miss out on contracts because they're miss out on their SIV because it's classified, the contract's classified, and they haven't like unlocked the right levels of keys to get to the right person in the bowels of Langley or the Pentagon. A lot of people miss out because they did 11 months and 20 days of service, which just seems so crazy, right?
Well, I don't think there should be a time limit at all, because once you start serving, once you start, if you have served under or have gained a badge from the U.S., or ISAF, whatever the fuck you want to call it, whatever organization they're on. Once you've obtained a badge, you're already marked. That's it. That there is no. I was going to ask you, and I'm glad you answered that without getting into details, and I don't want to endanger, Afghans that are currently in the process. Is there any like databases or something they can sign up to? You don't have to go into specifics, but that there is that additional vetting, or that there is that, hey, yeah, I could verify through someone's service that, yeah, I saw this certificate.
Unfortunately, no. And I'm really glad you asked about that, because there's another program, right? There's the refugee program, the P1, P2, P3, P4, DS 4317, which is family reunification. That program is for people like female tactical platoon commanders who were serving our forces. It's for pilots, helicopter pilots that served with us, for folks that we trained, fought, and bled alongside. It's for Taliban, the folks that prosecuted the Taliban, and the judges that judged the cases and put them away. It's for parliamentarians, anybody who believed in the idea of America, journalists who believed in the idea of America, and their job or their identity put them at risk. It's also, and you're never going to fucking believe this, there are 3,000 individual family members of active duty U.S. military service members who are trapped in Afghanistan right now. Well, 200 that are in Qatar on our base. They were in transit. And then 2,800 who are stuck in Afghanistan. And
these are Deer's card carrying family members. These aren't somebody that's married without. So are they registered in Deer's within the military?
They could be in many cases, yes, but that's like moms and dads.
Yeah.
Parents,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Parents, brothers and sisters, and children.
Okay.
Right.
So there's not just spouses, not just spouses. Then, yeah.
Spouses, children, moms, dads.
Yeah.
And look, we got an exception to policy for this, because if your mom or your dad are stuck in Afghanistan and you're Sergeant Major whomever, Sergeant Major Abdul, your mom's going to get her throat cut if the Taliban figures that out.
Yep.
Right? We've seen that happen. That's a real example. And we had to put together these fucking quad slides, one for every single Afghan service member that we were tracking, and essentially present it to the interagency to get them to believe us to do this. But they did it in February 2022, and it took until November of 2023 before they even got their shit together. It was really frustrating because
I can imagine,
because the policy was there, right? And DoD dragged their feet. And it was so frustrating because we had all these service members who were like, the military refused to engage with it. It was on us. It was on my team. My team was the one fielded. I'm still in a group chat with 80 service members who are just begging for their mom, dad, brother, sister to be able to come here. And because they're in the refugee track, they're not allowed to come right now. So refugees, there's no time limit. There's no 1 year of service. And you have to be referred in. You can't apply like you can on SIV. Now, both, if you go to afghanevac.org/vetting, you want to pull that up and share the screen?
Yeah. Let me go ahead. Keep talking. I'll pull it up.
That shows that I said that Enduring Welcome is the safest, most secure legal immigration pathway our country's ever seen. So don't believe anybody's bullshit when they're like, oh, we're worried about the vetting. Yes, it's true that when folks were coming here in August of 2021, the vetting wasn't perfect, right? But an IG investigation happened. They ran everybody to the ground. They kicked a few people out before they got into the airport, and they deported a couple people. Joe Biden deported a couple people, cleared out all those folks. There was some guy in Oklahoma who radicalized later on and wanted to do an election day attack. He arrived in the withdrawal. Vetting wouldn't have caught that. Instead, the system worked on that. The FBI caught it as soon as he radicalized, and they snatched his ass up, right? As far as Enduring Welcome goes, I think you're on the infographic slide. If you can go to afghanevac.org/vetting, that will pull up the rest of it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Enduring Welcome requires that whether you're in the refugee track or the SIV track, You go through all sorts of vetting before you ever leave Afghanistan. And then you go through all sorts of vetting before you can leave the platform and come to the United States. There hasn't been an issue with anybody from enduring welcome, but there will be, right? There's going to be, because every community has assholes. You were in the Army. I was in the Navy. We've got a bunch of Marines. Marines are probably the worst per capita.
Yeah.
Air Force, those guys don't do. We'll leave those guys in. But Army, Marine Corps, Navy, like I would bet you that the per capita misfit rate is much higher than in this immigrant population, right?
Yeah, of course, of course. And
And
you're always going to have those agitators out there that are listening to somebody, or hey, I heard this, or did you see that? Americans this, or maybe that. There is going to be some doubt. Is that the graphic you were talking about right there?
No, it's at. Actually, I can probably share it. Let me see here. It should be afghanevac.org/vetting. Let me see.
Vetting. Let me see.
Oh yeah, just VETTING.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. There you go. Yep, I'm on it.
Perfect.
I'm on
All right, so this graphic, we put it together to show, like, people are full of shit, right? Look at that amount of vetting. That's every step that it goes through. I used to have the names of some of the intelligence agencies on here, and I got a call from one of them. They were like, "Oh, you can't have our name on there." I was like, "Hey, bro, do you think people don't know?"
Yeah, exactly.
I found this on the internet.
Yeah,
They're like, "Ah!" It was so funny. Like, okay, I mean, I guess I'll change it, but like, big secret.
Well, that's why I asked, because there were some Afghans that had asked us to take some of their images down from our sites for their identity and stuff like that. So we were more than happy to take it down and all that or we would blur, or we would censor or something like that. But yeah, some of them were real. I mean, understandably, hey, can you please help us out and take this out? Yeah, sure, no big deal. But yeah, there's the SIV one. I mean, that vetting dude goes through like freaking. It covers an entire screen.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's great. And then there's the simplified version up top too.
Yeah, if you want to call it simplified.
I mean, it's. But we had to break this down because there was all these people spouting off like, oh, the vetting, like, oh, fucking, we don't know who these people are. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We know too much information about these people, right? We have so much information on them.
Right.
So grandpa or fucking drunk uncle, like, no, we do know who these people are.
Right.
And every veteran I know gives a shit about these folks.
Right. Not to mention the fact that, and there's one of them in here I remember because we did it with some of our locals in Iraq and deployed on the continent. The biometric vetting has always been important, has always been tracked, has always been, you know what I mean? You're not going to get a guy who's going to fake the funk. And we're like, wait a minute. No, dude, we don't have anything on you, you know?
There is a way to game the system. And it's if you've compromised the letter writer and the company. And like, if you compromise the full system on the SIV, then sure, maybe. Mm-hmm. But like, that has happened and they caught it, right? So I just think that I think there's some misconceptions about this, both in the outside world where like people are like, oh, we're worried about the vetting, but there's also a misconception in the White House about this and at the Department of Homeland Security.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was going to be the next question. Go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
Sure. So January 20th rolls around. We're thinking like, oh man, this is going to be great. We think because President Trump brought this up during the withdrawal, he brought it up during the debates every day at the RNC. I mean, he brought families of our final fallen in Afghanistan on the stage, right?
Yep.
And look, I know you have a buddy that you lost at Abbey Gate. I know that gentleman's mom asked President Biden to join him at her grave.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that he said Secret Service won't let me, and some bullshit like that, right? Mm-hmm. What the world doesn't know, and I'm going to break news here, is when I found out about that, I was really, really upset, especially because I was working with the Biden administration a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote a letter to President Biden. I've never made it public, but I said, listen, you owe it to these families to show up for them, to do something on the anniversary of their death on August 26th. Mm-hmm. They did not heed my call. President Trump did, though. President Trump sat with those families for 6 hours down in Mar-a-Lago after Mike Waltz brought him down there. And look, I got to give President Trump a lot of credit for that. It's hard to sit in somebody's pain. And the thing that was fucking infuriating to me was that Joe Biden was supposed to be the empathy guy. He was supposed to be the guy that dealt with grief and loss and could sit in it with you. And he just refused to do any of that on this issue. And I think it's bullshit. I think it was a failure on his part and on the part of his advisor, Mike Donilon, and others who refused to let him engage on this, to talk about it after that State of the Union. But look, January 20th comes back. So we think this is going to be great. We think, okay, if this keeps going, we know that, like, I thought I could go back to my life and like restart my career. I've been through 3 jobs. I'm walking out of Orange Theory, just like I did this morning on January 20th. And I get news that they're going to stop all refugee processing. And I'm like, the first thing that I thought of was those moms and those babies. The second thing I thought of was their service members, our service members' family members, right? And what a struggle it had been to get them approved, how hard it was. And there was a bunch of different refugees that we were trying to help get through. And I thought back to a conversation I had at the White House before, and I said, hey, in a year from now, there might never be another refugee. What are you doing today and every day to try to make sure that we get these folks to safety as fast as possible?
So brings us to the TPS program.
Well, it doesn't. I didn't talk about the executive order.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. I
on
sorry.
January 20th.
Yeah, I threw a gap in there. Sorry.
You're all right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
President Trump signed 3 executive orders, right? Executive Order 14163, which if you go to afghanevac.org/EO-crisis, I'll put it in the chat real quick. Executive Order 14163 paused the refugee program, and it made it to where in 90 days, President Trump would get a report put together by Secretary Noem, informed by Secretary Rubio, and it would go to Stephen Miller. And it would talk about whether or not U.S. rep was good for the country. The two of them, Noem and Rubio, could issue exemptions. So we started asking for exemptions. Before they even got into office, we sent them a letter that said, hey, broad immigration actions might have an unintended impact on Afghans. I know they got it. I dropped it off to them personally. I gave it to J.D. Vance's national security advisor, myself. We talked about it. Executive Order 14169 paused foreign aid. And that pause in foreign aid meant that all the resettlement funding stopped. So when Afghans get here, they're met at the airport by a resettlement agency. They get help finding a job, getting housing. They get moved into their house that's already been sort of, the early housing has been procured for them, whether it's a hotel or an apartment. Fridge is full of groceries, all of that. And they get help getting into school and all of those sorts of start your life things. And they get welcome money, right? A certain amount of money, like $1,500 per person, a little bit more than that. And it's meant to restart your life. That stopped. So then all of the flights stopped. At its peak, January 20th at 11:59 a.m., we had 28 flights a month leaving Kabul with 5,000 Afghans on them. You didn't know that because nobody knew that.
I was about to say, I didn't know that at all.
We kept it quiet.
Yeah. So
5,000 Afghans a month leaving.
So then okay. So then how many flights would it take and how long would it take to fly them all out if it would have kept going?
Sure. Well, look, we have about 250,000 Afghans left to get out, but there's 200,000 in Afghanistan, 210,000.
Right.
So what I had hoped is that we could see President Trump with all the savings, all the things that Elon Musk was doing.
Right.
We could double the number, right? It's 5,000 a month, 60,000 a year.
Right.
But 60,000 a year would get you over 4 years, everybody out. Right. But I think we could do 10,000 a month. I think that President Trump, especially in consultation with Qatar, who just gave him a plane, they've got great planes. I think that we could get this done in the first 2 years of his administration before the midterms.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah.
And if he did that, President Trump would be a hero to veterans, to our wartime allies, to anybody who cares about this. Instead, he's letting Stephen Miller and Kristi Noem squander his relationship with guys like us and veterans all over the country and the world. Now, that's people coming here. And we have to talk about 2 different programs here at home. Parole is you arrive in the country, they're like, yeah, you can come in temporarily till we figure shit out. Temporary protected status is you're already here. Something went down in your country. We can protect you until we figure it out. Now, everybody who came over in the initial withdrawal arrived on parole because it was so chaotic and like they were just
exactly.
So they would go to the bases and they would do all their processing.
Yep.
They would file for SIV. They would file for asylum. They would do all that stuff and eventually normalize status. If you were already here on TPS, or I'm sorry, if you're already here as like a student, or maybe you arrived on parole and you hadn't filed for asylum or something else yet, you might file for TPS, temporary protected status. Both of those programs are in trouble right now. The OAW parole is not being terminated. It seems like they're just going to let it expire. It had been reauthorized 2 years after they got here. So come June, July, August, we're going to start seeing this massive influx of people who no longer have authorization to work and have to go back to Afghanistan or await their asylum processing. Number two, today, well, actually, let me finish on parole.
Okay.
So there were people that came here during the withdrawal. They got paroled. Operation Allies Welcome parole. Different, safe. There were people that were waiting forever. We talked about how long it took for families to get here. We talked about how long it took for all these different folks to get here. Some people didn't want to wait. They went to Brazil. They walked up through the Darien Gap. They, a lot of conservatives were saying, go through Joe Biden's open borders. I got a guy. There was a guy whose initials are RP. I'm not going to dime anybody out too much. Who was telling people he had to deal with DHS and just go up and go through CBP1 or go up and get over the border and, you'll be fine. All of those people that arrived that way had their parole terminated and they were told you got to leave in 7 days. Now, what DHS is not telling people is if you have a pending court case or a pending asylum claim, you don't have to leave. But my advice for all Afghans is get an immigration attorney. Don't listen to some advocate. Don't listen to me. Talk to an immigration attorney. Now we're at TPS. Today, the Department of Homeland Security filed notice in the Federal Register. It will be published tomorrow in the Federal Register. And it says that you have 60 days to leave if you have temporary protected status. Now, that's really scary, right? That's really scary. They're saying that the conditions have gotten better in Afghanistan. Well, that's not fucking true.
Yeah, I was about to say bullshit.
Yeah.
I
Earlier today, I challenged Secretary Noem to come with me to Afghanistan. It's not safe for me either, but if she'll go, I'll go. She can do her cosplay thing. She's dressed up like dressed up like this, and dressed up like that.
She can put her vest on like. I'm sorry. Hey, we break balls too. We say the same thing. Like, girl, what you doing? It's like that girlfriend that wants to make sure you're actually going to do a raid.
That's right. And there's no chance there's ammo in that mag, right?
Exactly.
She's flagging all these guys.
Yeah, exactly. Holding a weapon like a bad action figure.
Yeah. So I actually, after I challenged her to that, I wanted to make sure that I could deliver on that, right?
Right.
So I called up the logistics folks, and the guys were like, "Yeah, man, we can get you guys in and out, no problem. We'll have you sit down with the Taliban." I'm like, I don't really want to do that, but if it means that we get more Afghans out, great. But right now, the Taliban's not the problem. The Taliban, which is fucking crazy, our government is the problem. And I said earlier, the White House made a miscalculation, right?
Yeah.
Stephen Miller and Kristi Noem have miscalculated how much veterans care about this. We're pissed off, and this is all we all left some piece of us in whatever we did, right? And we fucking stick together. We're not. It doesn't matter that I didn't serve in Afghanistan. It doesn't matter you didn't serve in Afghanistan. This fucking matters to us.
It does, big time.
And we're not going to stop. And I've already burned a bunch of bridges, right? Let's fucking keep burning the bridges down. We're gonna stay on this, and we expect that Congress is going to stay on this too. Senator Sheehy in Montana ran because this happened. He's a Republican senator. I guarantee you he cares about this. Guarantee you he cares about
the
this.
Special Operations community cares about it too, because we lost a Special Operations soldier at Abbey Gate. And it's almost like somebody said in the comments right now is that, we're 100%, we fucked over like the Vietnamese, we fucked over the Kurds, we fucked over all of our allies. This should not be our precedent. This should not every time we have something happen where our troops or our forces are being evac from whatever operations or whatever theater of operations we're at. I saw the just so you guys know that, you know, Shawn does bullshit around. If he says he said something, I'm just gonna go ahead and post and show his Twitter account. He puts his he's like, I like that. I like Shawn. Shawn, dude, you're like rocking it, man. You put your money where your mouth is. That's what I'm talking about, man. Look at this. This is some good shit.
There's video of me saying it too.
Yeah. I'm just gonna read it off. I mean, you said it already, but this is just insane. Imagine believing Afghanistan is safe now, which is bullshit because we still hear some stories from Afghans in country that are able to smuggle a video out saying that the conditions are bad. They're terminating the specifically the women that are there or anybody who's been being hunted down. It's just fucking atrocious. And then, hey, Seknome, let's go visit if you believe it's so safe. I know a guy who can get you in, dude. You know, I'll tell you what, Shawn, if you're able to do that to highlight that shit, then Jesus Christ, man, it's that easy. It literally is that easy.
If your listeners go out and retweet that or the video where I'm saying it, that will help us get their attention. We need to get their attention. We need every one of your listeners. Go to afghanevac.org/elected-officials, and you can look up who represents you. Write them a letter. There's a draft letter there that you can write them talking about it during welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them about your experience. Your voices really matter. Doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. This issue matters to everybody. And you can go and talk to them. And if they won't talk to you, call me. I'll help you get in. We'll go visit them. I'll fly to wherever you live and we'll go visit them.
Now, has anybody come out publicly to go, hey, you know, Shawn, you're right. Oh, you know, did the grip and grin and all that? Have they just say, oh yeah, this is you're right. This is a good idea. Let's go do this or let's plan this. Has any politician?
No, I just did that today. But listen,
okay.
A lot of Republicans have come out and said we need to do this, not go visit, but we need to keep this going. You know, bleeding heart liberals like Michael McCall and Mike Lawler and Corey Mills, right? Like Daryl Issa. These people are not Democrats. These people are dyed-in-the-wool conservatives.
Yeah.
Who I disagree. I'm a Democrat. We disagree on a lot of things.
Right.
But like, if you can, like, actually, I'll give you another example. There's a guy, day one has been involved. Actually, my door over here has like our rundown. And he and I couldn't be more different. His name is Jack McCain. You might recognize that last name.
Yes.
Jack is Republican royalty, and I'm a Democratic nobody. He is a he's an officer, Naval Academy, like Hootie Tube, whatever, you know, like that. Like every person named John McCain ever has gone to the Naval Academy. I got kicked out of 3 high schools. And I was enlisted, right? And he was a helicopter pilot. And my job in the Navy was to shoot things out of the sky. Our motto was, if it flies, it does.
Yep.
We couldn't be more different. And
Exactly.
we're like this on that. He actually just did a video that we put out on last Monday, where he was saying like, hey, Congress, do your job. Hey, executive branch, do your job. You're all failing. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
His dad would be so disappointed in our country for this.
Especially since his dad is a Vietnam veteran. I mean, regardless if you like your politics or not of either his, yours, or whatever. I look at, and we posted a picture on WTF Moments when the Afghan evac was happening, and we did a side by side of the evac of the embassy in Saigon and then the Chinook taking off in Afghanistan. And that picture, I mean, we at that point we weren't looking for fucking credit on who did the picture. We just wanted to get it out just to do the, hey, look right here. We cannot disrespect our allies. Say that, you know, because there's guys that I've served, like I said, you know this too. You've heard all the stories of guys that have bled with our Afghan allies, Afghan commandos, Afghan media people that have, and it just breaks my heart when we have an Afghan in our fucking inbox. And I know you probably get related a lot of information too from us. That I grip my teeth, dude. I'm like, what?
There's not much. What I will tell people is if you go to afghanevac.org/resources, you can get a lot of help, right? You can understand how the process is supposed to work. Right now, it's really hard. SIV processing is still going, but there's no help to get people out of Afghanistan, and there's no help to get people from a third country to the United States from the government. Now, you can go to afghanevac.org/self-depart. And if you have a valid U.S. visa in your passport, we can help you get here. We can help you get to people that will help you resettle. But all the welcome money's gone. All of these things that were just sort of there and helping people start their American dream, they're all gone because Stephen Miller doesn't like refugees.
Yeah, a veteran trip sanctioned. I mean, literally that passion in front of him to the Taliban. I thought we were supposed to be making deals.
My whole point with the invite to go see Afghanistan is that it's not fucking safe. They're not going to do that.
No. What I'm saying though is that the individuals that are in Qatar, they have a delegation in Qatar, and so at least you could go to Qatar, start the discussions, have products being sent to you, showing you and video you, hey, this is what's going on currently right now, which of course would be dangerous as hell. But
you think I should go to Qatar and talk to the Taliban?
Fuck yeah.
All right, fuck it, let's do it.
I mean, come on, dude. You literally had everybody agreeing, which is something you never have to hand it to. You never have to hand it to the Taliban. But when the Taliban said to India and Pakistan, hey, you all need to fucking chill in your everyone's agreeing with the Taliban? I mean, come on. We never handed it to the Taliban. So it's like, I mean, I looked at it as like, hey, please don't nuke us, Taliban. I mean, that's what they're, don't nuke us. But yeah, that's what I think. I think, we've had a lot of veteran groups, that have done this as well. Operation Pineapple with Scott Mann. Also had Send Me with Nick Palmiciano from Ranger Up. I mean, a delegation like that to Qatar to explain, hey, look, man, use Qatar as the fucking... Use it as the conduit to get people out. We'll fly you. Just let us fucking fly in there and get them out. You don't have to. We won't say anything. You say you want or say some shit, but let's get these guys out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
It's just fucking.
I would go, Scott, Nick, call me. Let's go do this.
Yeah.
Look, we'll work with literally any human that wants to help our wartime allies. And that's the end of that sentence, right?
Yeah. Amen.
I don't care if you're left, right, up, down, weird, not weird, whatever your thing is. If you want to help Afghans, let's go do that.
Even the Air Force.
Let's not get too aggressive here. Air Force, yes. Space Force, jury's still
up. Yeah. What the hell can the Space Force do?
They got eyes in the sky, right?
Yeah, true. It just, again, it is just, like I said, it's that teeth gritting moment, getting that message, and again, the challenge is out there, guys. Anybody wants to help Shawn, Afghan evac. I'm throwing as we're talking. I'm throwing so many freaking comments in the chats. All the links.
And I'll tell you, I'm going to shamelessly ask for money because we haven't. When early on we were directing money everywhere else. I've gone through 3 jobs. I've got folks that we've got to keep pushing our messages out. So if you care about this and you want to make a small investment or a big investment, go to afghanevac.org/donate. It doesn't go to direct. It's not paying for food or shelter or anything like that for Afghans. I want to be very clear. It's paying to help us pay for our infrastructure, help us make sure that we're getting the message out.
Yeah, if you look at the right, if you look at the bottom corner right there, you'll see it in a little heart there. There you go. Space Force will give out sweet tinfoil hats.
That's right. I'll take it. We need a donation from the Space Force.
No, but you're right. Eye in the sky information and stuff like that. But it's just. Again, it's a friction point with me because again, of specifically with our communities that I've discussed earlier. So,
yeah, it's just this should be a fucking no-brainer, man.
Yeah.
This is the dumbest thing to fight about, the dumbest thing that we should even have to have a conversation about.
Right.
And as a political person, because I wear that hat not when I'm wearing my nonpartisan Afghan evac hat, but as a political person, what idiot would step on this rake? 90% of the American public supports this.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do this?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What? And there's such a good opportunity. Joe Biden fucking blew it in August of 2021.
Yeah.
Go be a hero, man. Double it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly that. You're talking about an administration that's all about the PR wins. This is the ultimate in PR wins right here. You get the veteran community loving you. You get the freaking Afghan community loving you. You get actual firsthand stories of an evac. Hey, help U.S. forces, because this is what happens when you help U.S. forces. Because when shit goes down, an American will help you out, which is the fucking beacon of is a symbolism of our flag, anyways. I mean, I'm a first generation American, and that's how my fucking family saw it. They saw the banner of the U.S. flag as the hope, the beacon of hope. So
Ronald Reagan said we need to be a shining city on a hill.
Amen.
Where the fuck is that?
Yeah, amen.
Right?
Amen. Damn, you're gonna get me rolling for another 3 hours.
I love the fight.
Let's go. All right, Shawn. Hey, man, thanks again for hanging out. This is very informative. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to get the website. I'm going to get the Afghan.org website on our WTF Moments timeline, which has 1.7 million followers on it, and I'll get that on there. Hey, I'll refer to the conversation that we had and all that. But thanks again so much for hanging out, man. This
Thank you. Anytime.
Yeah, this has been a lot for me too.
Other shit, I'm down to come talk about other shit too. Let's fucking party.
Exactly. All right, guys, we're gonna take a break while me and Shawn shoot the shit and think about other things to burn down. And we'll be right back. And shots. So y'all hang out, and we'll be right back.
If that's really a thing, and I get authorized to do it once, it's pretty much gonna be me sitting there talking shit, like, constantly.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Sometimes when I look at, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, I think it's WTF Army or something.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
This is the heavy monster sound.
Oh, man, that was fun. Hey, Shawn VanDiver, Afghan evac, thanks so much for hanging out. This was like I was just telling him in the break, this was an event weeks in the making. And so I'm so glad he was able to come on. What do you think about that passion? See, that's the shit. Yeah, exactly that. Keith, dude's pretty cool. Dude is cool. So yeah, it is one of those things. He even offered to come back and shoot the shit about politics and all this any other DC drama. But yeah, he even had to go because even I was over blabbing him. Only had an hour's worth of jibba jabba. So again, thanks again, Shawn VanDiver, Afghan evac. We're gonna put that site on the main page timeline, so you guys will definitely see it. It'll probably be more likely on the article slot, posting at 8 a.m. EST. What was I going to talk about? What were we talking about? That was fun. I'm just trying to, let me see. I got to get my notes straight right here. Get my notes up here. All right. So some of this stuff we're going to go ahead. This is going to be a Sergeant's Time topic. So I will definitely not talk about the AFT. I will definitely not be talking about the Phantom shitter, because that will be the news that's coming up. I guarantee it. No, we will not reveal the identity of the Phantom shitter. Just gonna let the command handle it. Just fucking sucks. Sometimes our inbox sanctity is also a I don't know. It's a detriment to us as well. But it's still fucked up. If you shit in the fucking water buffalo, I'm just saying you're fucked up. I'll say that again 5 times again. You're fucked up if you shit in water buffalo. That's some pretty fucked up shit, especially at NTC. It's fucking hot. They're in the desert. It's Fort Irwin. Another question, and this is going to be another post coming up on U.S. Army WTF Moments on all the platforms. You guys know we're on X now, right? WTF Moments posts on X or Twitter. So, Mike, we ID'd him. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to say nothing, bro. Don't put in the chats because I don't want to repeat the name. If you ID'd him and you got him, would you guys do a fucking DNA test on the shit? Or anyways, we're on X. So if you see it on the time, let's put it this way. If you see it on any timeline, if it's on Instagram, the post, then it's shared more than likely on WTF Moments. U.S. Army WTF Moments Facebook page is what shares all the articles and all the other stuff. But the videos and the static posts, the graphics are shared across X, Instagram, and Facebook. So that way, I mean, there's some friends of mine that are like, I don't like fucking X, or I don't like fucking Facebook. I don't have a Facebook. I don't have Boomer Book, and I only use X. And then that way, that's more than happy. So the timeline's up. So yes, we are finally active again on X. The inbox, however, on X is rarely looked at. So if you got anything or you want to talk about, you can always email, or actually you can always use the Facebook inbox. So yeah, exactly that. Yeah, you're nasty, dude. You're nasty if you use a freaking. You're nasty. That's just disgusting. I can't believe somebody would do that. That's like, look, man, like I said, it's funny, ha ha ha, when you take the fucking guide on, or you misplace the colors, or you rat fuck the MREs and take all the jalapeno cheese. That to me, ha ha. Okay, that's funny. That is funny. But not shitting in a water buffalo. Not although a candy bar in the pool is funny. Yeah, okay. It's a candy bar in a pool is funny if you were the one that did the joke and then you go out, grab the candy bar and take a bite in it, which was a Babe Ruth. Y'all see Biden on The View? No, I didn't. Well, what happened on The View? Hang on. Whoa. Hang on. What? Hang on. What was that? What happened? Let me see. Oh, hang on. Biden on The View. Biden on The View. Let me see. Because, I think The View is the one that got pissed off because we fucking shared. Is that what happened? He or she should be charged. Yes. Are you talking about the water buffalo shitter? Yes, should be charged. There was individuals. Yeah. Yeah. The admins, like I said, the officer admins at U.S. Army WTF Moments were like, throw the book at them. And then the NCO admins were like, yeah, after we beat the shit out of this individual on the wood line. It was horrible. Okay, hang on. Let me see. Okay, now you got my curiosity going to be piqued. But see, that's the thing. I don't want to get our stream cut because of of that right there. Hang on. Oh, okay. Okay. Here, there we go. Well, there it is. Somebody said this is a summary of the Joe Biden interview on The View. The View got pissed off at us one time because we were making fun of them, and we posted some of their video, and they did like a content strike against our accounts, and they were really pissed off because we were mocking them and making fun of them. So, but yeah, I guess you could say that summarizes it, right? Okay, now I'm gonna have to, like, after the show, I'm gonna have to go ahead and then cut it and like, all right, cool. Dude is doing, yeah. Oh man, yeah, dude's doing a road show. They'll be lucky if he doesn't fall again. Yeah, man, let the old man rest. Let him sleep. He's done. That was perfect. That was perfect. Anyhow, I'm gonna do some housekeeping, man. We're closing it up. It's time to wrap it. You guys saw the video in the beginning of the show. That was from Embed Actual. Actually, that was Vet TV's Embed Actual. And again, we're that for the next, I don't know, since what was it, last Wednesday, we started a campaign on U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio to highlight Vet TV and also highlight Embed Actual. So yeah, that documentary is the shit. Now I'm gonna tell you what. Towards the end of the month, I'm gonna get with Vet TV and say, hey, let's do some giveaways. Let's give out some discounts and shit like that to everybody to get on there and check out Embed Actual, and then seeing about maybe later in the month getting the guys that went out there from Project Leaflet to this is, if you haven't seen it, if you guys haven't seen all the media for it, then yeah, it's I 100% support it. It's a great product. It gets you thinking too. What would compel U.S. veterans to go and fight in Ukraine? What's the 3rd Assault Brigade going through? What's the people of Ukraine going through? Also, you see some of the drone stuff. You know me. Everybody knows I'm the big drone guy, and yeah. So pay attention. You guys probably saw a video last night, or this morning. I'm sorry, a video this morning of the intro of Embed Actual, and yeah. So there it is. The real elder abuse is real. Yeah, exactly. This is the Monday edition with myself and Massey. Again, Massey's out of the net. Tomorrow is Pop Culture Warrior. Michael Carrasquillo, also known as CQ, the Pop Culture Warrior. He's going to have a guest tomorrow, Jonathan Bowen. He's going to come on and shoot the shit with Mike and the angry staff of Angry Ale for Mad Mike. Wednesday is, I think he's recovering okay with the surgery, but I think Radar's going to be back. Radar and TZ Sergeant's coming back. Myself and Spanky, of course, on Sergeant's time on Thursday. FTX. Did they already do it? FTX? Man, I've been so freaking busy doing other shit. So I gotta look to see if did FTX happen? Did FTX happen last week? I don't think it did. Did it? Did it happen last week or did not? No, it did not. Okay. Well, all right. I appreciate you guys telling me more about it. Yeah. So I don't think FTX happened. What was the status of those injured during the rollover in the Pacific Northwest? Yeah. You guys just saw that video. You saw that video of the that JLTV that jumped a guardrail and in the vicinity of JBLN. Yeah, they're okay. They suffered minor injuries, but they'll be okay. So there it is. We would never post any fatals ever on the timeline. So yeah, so we wanted to make sure that everyone was good to go, and yeah, there it is. Appreciate all, man. Appreciate. I mean, there's a lot of. I think we got a lot of. All I see is Arabic or Pashto lines or yeah, in there Afghan. Yeah, hi, what's up? What's up, Sikho? our translator's working okay. So I guess it's hi, how you doing? I guess it must have been listening to Shawn as well. Anytime we have Afghan evac on or something like that. But anyway, so FTX and then co-ops. I know Nemo's going to bring up an update from PAX. I don't know if you guys saw the timeline earlier today on U.S. Army WTF Moments. You probably saw WTF Nation Gaming out there doing some day gaming. Which, nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that gaming. I think I should just jump on there too myself. Don't mind throwing hitting the sticks myself. The guys from from Embed Asheville, Ethan Nagel and Chris Naganuma. Those would be the dudes that we're trying to get at the end of the month. And so it's kind of like, it actually bookends the campaign pretty good. Started last week with a little tidbit from the guys from Chosen Company, and then also you saw a video yesterday. Tomorrow is going to be another sneak peek. So there's going to be 6 promos and stuff like that all together, and then there's going to be some shared stuff from the other content. So yeah, once we get them on there, man, like I said, I'm gonna see about getting some giveaways, some promos for the guys to come on, or for you guys to subscribe. So I think that's. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say sports bar yet? No, I didn't say the sports bar. Sunday, the coach and the actual King Smith, king of the sports bar, on Sunday. All the sports bar trash talk. And actually, that's one of my favorite. I love all the shows, but that's the one that I like to listen to because I like sports and I like to hear all the trash talk on who's got the better team or who's whatever. I know my Raiders will never ever make the topic of conversation for the sports bar unless they're winning, because just like the Cowboys or just like the Patriots, anytime a sorry team, or I should not say sorry, but a team that's not doing well, I know how it rolls. You get all those bandwagon jumpers that come on. So maybe the Raiders might be the topic of conversation, though they did have some good picks for the draft. So make sure you share, like, and follow. We're broadcasting live on 5 platforms. X at WTF Nation Radio. We're on 2 Facebook pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. 2 YouTube pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. You guys know that Facebook has their, we're going to delete all your live videos after 30 days, but you can all find them on the WTF Nation Radio YouTube page, and that's where you'll be able to see all the stuff on there. So the Saints ain't much better. Oh, why is Mike throwing in there the "Oh Jesus" stuff? Is that because he's a Raider hater? Is that what you're saying? You a Raider hater? Yeah, hang on. I'm going to wait for the delay here. I'm going to see how Mike's going to answer so I can perma-ban him. I'm just kidding, dude. I'm just kidding. What's your team, Mike? What's your team? Again, thanks for listening tonight, and also thanks again to Shawn VanDiver from Afghan evac. We could have gone longer, but damn, dude, this was some good shit. And make sure you follow all the click on all the links that we had in the comment in the chats, and then donate, of course. And I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, make sure that the team gets the that site scheduled. So I think that's it. I think we're good, right? Y'all good? You good? You good? How about you? You good over there? You good? You good? All right. Shots. Have a good night. See you. Oh, Pittsburgh. Did you have to do that right when I was about ready to close out? Oh, man. Perma-ban. Just kidding, Mike. Just breaking balls. Nobody's perfect. Y'all have a good night. Shots.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Driving us insane. ATF 0 time 30, no time to complain. Push up in the mud, feel the muscle strain. Army life is a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive, in the ranks we thrive. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Hilltops in the desert, sandstorms in our eyes. Memories for breakfast, no room for lies. Rocket marches through the night under starless skies. Brothers and sisters, we rise. Army life, it's a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive. In the ranks we thrive. It's WTF moments in the army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos, in the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Drill sergeant fury echoing in the air. Discipline and duty we all must bear. Battle buddies by our side in the fight we share. In the face of danger we dare. Army life, it's a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive. In the ranks we thrive. It's WTF moments in the army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos, in the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Zones and firefights, adrenaline's rush. Silent nights, broken by the enemy's hush. Medics on the move in the heat of the crush. In the heart of battle we trust. It's WTF moments in the army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find out our kind. In the chaos, in the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle. Army life, it's a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive. In the ranks we thrive. Memories in our mind. Brothers lost but never left behind. Army WTF moments in the stories we find. In the army's embrace, we're forever entwined. It's WTF moments in the army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos, in the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Through the smoke and the flames we rise again. In the heart of the storm we find our zen. Battle buddies by our side, our men. In the army's legacy we transcend.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
There are many simple things in the world. Shovels. They are all different. Gardening shovel. Unloading shovel. Children's shovel. But there is also a different shovel. We use it when we come to the position. In short time, it helps us dig a trench which saves us from bullets. If a tank will pass over the trench, there is a high probability that it will not cause any harm to the soldier. We dig in the ground, deeper, and then connect the trenches with our friends to the left. In just a few hours, trenches are all connected. When we do not have an axe, we can use a shovel to cut a loaf of bread. A soldier uses a shovel as a paddle, crossing the wide river under enemy fire. If we run out of ammunition, we will use a shovel again And then we'll move on. And when we get the order to stop, we'll take a shovel again and build around us an impregnable fortress. This fortress is defended by the army of Ukraine, our army.